the sirens came out of nowhere. 1 second, everything was calm. The next, 2 police cars came flying into the gas station on Elm Street. Tires screeched. Red and blue lights bounced off windows. Everyone inside the small corner store froze. Sergeant Marcus Ray Jackson was just about to pay for a bottle of water. He had on his Army Reserve uniform, clean, neat, metal shining on his chest. He had just finished a long day at Fort Harrison and stopped for a quick drink on his way home. But now something felt off. 2 white officers jumped out of the police cars. One was tall and lean with a thick jaw, Officer Kyle Baker. The other, shorter and round, was Officer Gary Thompson. They looked like they already made up their minds about something. Their hands were on their guns as they stormed inside the store. "Out of the store now, hands where I can see them," Officer Baker shouted. People jumped. A woman dropped her bag of chips. A man recording lottery numbers stepped aside fast. The cashier ducked behind the counter. Marcus raised his hands, confused. "What's going on?" Baker marched straight up to him. "You're under suspicion of impersonating military personnel." Marcus's eyes widened. "Excuse me? I am in the Army." Thompson stepped in, grabbed Marcus's arm, and twisted it behind his back. The cuffs snapped shut before Marcus could say another word. The water bottle dropped and rolled across the floor. "You're making a mistake," Marcus said, trying to stay calm. Baker smirked. "Yeah, they all say that." They dragged him outside and forced him to kneel on the hot sidewalk. Cars slowed down to watch. Phones came out. Some folks started filming. Marcus didn't resist. He kept his head up and eyes focused. He knew the uniform he wore meant something. And now these 2 officers were about to learn what that meant. "I'd like to make one phone call," Marcus said quietly. Thompson laughed. "To who?" "Your lawyer." "No," Marcus said. "My commanding officer." The 2 officers looked at each other, then shrugged. "Go ahead." Marcus leaned on one side and pulled his phone from his pocket. Still cuffed, he managed to tap a single name on his screen. It rang twice. "Colonel Davies." "Sir, this is Sergeant Jackson. I've been wrongfully detained. They claim I'm impersonating military." Silence. Then in a slow, deep voice, "Stay there. I'm on my way." Marcus hung up and looked at the officers. "Help is coming," he said calmly. They just laughed again, but they wouldn't be laughing for long. Exactly 7 minutes later, 3 black SUVs rolled up to the gas station. They didn't come with sirens. They didn't need to. Men in dark suits stepped out, all of them wearing military badges and sharp uniforms. The air changed fast. People moved aside. Even the loud traffic seemed to quiet down. Then the back door of the front SUV opened. Out stepped Colonel Robert Davies. He was tall, silver-haired, and walked like a man who didn't waste time. His uniform had more ribbons and medals than most people had seen in real life. He walked up to the 2 officers standing near Marcus and asked one simple question. "Which one of you is Baker?" Officer Baker raised his hand slowly. Colonel Davies didn't yell. He didn't need to. "I'm Colonel Robert Davies. That man you handcuffed is Sergeant Marcus Ray Jackson. He's been serving this country for 11 years. You just put a decorated soldier in cuffs on the sidewalk in full uniform." Officer Thompson swallowed hard. "We thought he was fake." "Did you ask for ID?" the colonel snapped. "No, sir." "Did you check his badge? His base permit? Or even ask his name?" Thompson didn't answer. Colonel Davies stepped closer, his voice sharp. "You racially profiled one of our own. And now both of you are under federal review for misconduct." A military lawyer came forward and handed over official papers. "You're being placed on administrative leave. Effective immediately. Your badges, weapons, and radios. Hand them over." Baker's jaw dropped. Wait. This is a mistake." "The only mistake," Davies said coldly, "was thinking you could treat a soldier like a criminal because of the color of his skin." He walked over to Marcus, who was still kneeling. "Get up, Sergeant," Davies said, helping him to his feet. "This shouldn't have happened, but it will never happen again. Cheers broke out from bystanders. One woman clapped loudly. Another shouted, "That's justice." Baker and Thompson were led away by internal affairs, not in handcuffs, but with their heads down, their futures crashing. Marcus stood tall, his uniform dusty, his pride untouched. By the next morning, the video was everywhere. Marcus's arrest and the moment Colonel Davies showed up played on TV, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. The hashtag Salute Sergeant Jackson was trending. Reporters showed up at the gas station asking questions. Talk shows debated the story all day. The mayor called a press conference. "I want to personally apologize to Sergeant Jackson," she said, standing in front of City Hall. What happened was unacceptable. Officers Baker and Thompson have been terminated. Not suspended, not transferred, fired. People cheered. Marcus watched it on his couch with a bowl of cereal and didn't smile until the mayor added, "Sergeant Jackson is an example of grace, honor, and patience. He deserves our respect, not suspicion." 2 weeks later, Marcus was invited to speak at the police academy. He walked into a room filled with young recruits and nervous faces. He didn't bring a script. He just told the truth. "Before you put on a badge, remember something," he said. "Power doesn't make you right. Listening does. Respect does. You see a black man in uniform? That's not your enemy. That's your brother. Ask before you act." There was silence. Then slow applause. Back home, Marcus sat on his porch with a glass of sweet tea, watching the sun dip behind the trees. He didn't want revenge. He got what mattered more: respect, justice, and his story heard loud and clear, a defining moment that sparked crucial conversations about racial bias and accountability within law enforcement in Oakwood, Alabama, leading to mandatory cultural sensitivity training for all officers and a renewed commitment to serving every citizen with dignity and fairness.